Welcome back, coin enthusiasts. Pocket change coins. Today we're about to dive deep into a fascinating piece of American numismatic history, the 1944 Lincoln 1-cent coin. Now, when you think of rare coins, the 1944 Lincoln cent may not immediately come to mind, but trust me, this particular coin holds more value than you'd expect. Let's talk about its significance, why it's so valuable, and what makes it a prized possession among collectors. Stick with me till the end because the price might just surprise you. The Lincoln cent, which first appeared in 1909, has become one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. Featuring the image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the coin has seen many changes over the years. But the 1944 Lincoln cent stands out for some pretty unique reasons. The most striking thing about this coin is its composition. If you know anything about wartime coinage, you know that the 1940s were a period of change. During World War II, the U.S. faced a shortage of copper, which led to the U.S. Mint changing the metal content of the coins. In 1943, the U.S. Mint switched to using steel for the Lincoln cent due to the wartime need for copper, but in 1944, the minting process returned to using copper for a limited amount of coins. The 1944 Lincoln cent is primarily composed of 95% copper, but there are some rare variations of this coin that were mistakenly struck on steel planchets left over from the previous year. This mix-up led to the creation of a small number of 1944 steel pennies that have become incredibly valuable. These coins are the main reason why the 1944 Lincoln cent is so highly prized by collectors today. It's easy to overlook such a coin because, after all, the majority of 1944 pennies are just regular copper ones that have circulated for decades. However, it's those rare steel-era pennies that hold the real value in the numismatic market. So, if you have a 1944 penny lying around in your collection or even in a coin jar, it's worth your time to double-check it. If you find a 1944 steel cent in good condition, you could be holding onto a coin worth a small fortune. What makes these coins especially intriguing is the mistake behind their creation. The Mint accidentally used leftover steel planchets intended for the 1943 steel cent. This tiny misstep resulted in a few steel pennies being struck with the 1944 date. But there were only a few of these coins created, making them incredibly rare. Some estimates suggest that fewer than 20 of these 1944 steel cents are known to exist today, which is why they've become such coveted items for collectors. So, how much could a 1944 Lincoln steel cent be worth today? Well, the price can vary depending on its condition and the demand in the market. Some of the more well-preserved coins have been known to fetch upwards of $38,000 when they go to auction. Yes, you heard that correctly, $38,000 for a single penny. It's a truly mind-blowing amount for something that was originally worth just 1 cent. In fact, some of the finest examples of the 1944 steel penny have sold for even higher amounts, depending on their grade and overall condition. Coins that have been well maintained or professionally graded by numismatic experts can bring in prices that are much higher than the average market value. These coins have become like treasure hunts for coin collectors, and finding one can be an exciting journey, but the regular copper 1944 Lincoln cents are valuable too, though not quite at the level of the rare steel-era coins. A well-preserved 1944 copper Lincoln cent in mint condition can still be worth more than its face value, especially if it is a high-grade example. Even if you don't find a steel penny, you might still have a coin that is worth significantly more than what you initially thought. Coins from this era, especially those in mint or near-mint condition, tend to increase in value over time due to their rarity and historical significance. When you think about the 1944 Lincoln cent, it's hard not to see the historical context in which it was produced. 1944 was right in the middle of World War II, and this coin came into circulation during a time when the United States was pulling together as a nation. The penny, with Lincoln's portrait on the front, represents the strength and resolve of the American people during a difficult period in history. The copper that makes up most of the coin was vital to the war effort, and it's incredible to think that something so small could be linked to such a pivotal time in history. If you're a coin collector or just someone who has a few pennies lying around from your childhood, don't be too quick to dismiss them. A simple 1944 Lincoln cent could be hiding a much higher value than what you'd expect. And while it's rare to find the valuable steel version of this coin, it's always worth checking. Many collectors have been pleasantly surprised when they discovered a rare coin right in their own collection. That's all for today's video. I hope this has given you a new perspective on the 1944 Lincoln cent and why it's such a fascinating and valuable piece of American history. So, today's video. We're going to dive deep into a truly remarkable coin from the Lincoln series, the 1950 Lincoln 1 cent. You might think that a penny from 1950 wouldn't be anything special, but I'm about to show you how this coin can be a hidden gem in your collection. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be looking at your pennies with a whole new perspective. First, let's set the scene. The Lincoln 1 cent was first introduced in 1909, and it's been in circulation ever since. Featuring President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the classic wheat ears design on the reverse, it has become one of the most iconic coins in American history. By the time we get to the 1950s, the coin had been in circulation for over 40 years, but 1950 still stands out as a year when some special coins were minted, and the Lincoln 1 cent from that year is no exception. Now, let's talk about why the 1950 Lincoln cent is so valuable. To start, it's important to understand that most coins from this era were minted in large quantities and are relatively easy to find. But there are always exceptions, and the 1950 Lincoln cent happens to be one of those exceptions. While it may seem like a regular penny at first glance, there are some particular features that make the 1950 version stand out, especially if you happen to have one in excellent condition. The 1950 penny was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, and the difference between these two mint marks is important. The Philadelphia mint mark is known for producing a large quantity of pennies, but the Denver mint mark, which appears as a small d on the coin, is where things get interesting. While there were millions of pennies made in 1950, the Denver variety is the one that collectors are most interested in. Why? Because it's known for its lower mintage and, as a result, has become a rare find, particularly in good condition, but it's not just the mint mark that adds to its value. Like many coins, the condition of the 1950 Lincoln cent plays a huge role in determining its worth. A well-preserved coin, especially one with sharp details and minimal wear, can command a much higher price than a coin that has seen heavy circulation. This is where things get exciting for collectors, as there are specific 1950 pennies in high-grade conditions that can fetch impressive sums at auctions. The value of these coins has steadily risen over the years, making them highly desirable in the numismatic world. One of the main reasons that the 1950 Lincoln cent is worth so much is because of its historical significance and relative rarity. Coins from this era, especially those in great condition, are increasingly hard to find as time goes on. Collectors often focus on coins that have survived in nearly mint condition, and the 1950 penny fits that bill perfectly. It's the kind of coin that appeals to both casual collectors and serious numismatists alike. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter. How much could a 1950 Lincoln cent be worth? While the typical 1950 penny in circulated condition may only be worth a few cents more than face value, a high-quality example in uncirculated or near-mint condition can fetch a much higher price. The real value, however, lies in a specific variety of this coin, the rare 1950D mint mark penny, especially those with well-defined features. In top-notch condition, these coins can easily reach prices in the thousands of dollars range. But there's even more to it. If you have one in exceptional condition, for coins in near-mint or mint condition, it's not unheard of for a 1950 Lincoln cent to sell for a staggering $36,000. Yes, you heard that right, $36,000. This price may seem hard to believe for a coin that was originally worth just 1 cent, but it's a testament to how rare and valuable these high-grade examples have become in the market. The demand for coins like this has skyrocketed as collectors realize just how rare they are. The fact that these pennies were produced over 70 years ago, combined with their relative scarcity in pristine condition, makes them highly sought after. Auctions, coin dealers, and collectors all search for these 1950 pennies, making them a hot commodity in the world of rare coins. So, if you happen to come across a 1950 Lincoln cent, whether it's from Philadelphia or Denver, don't be too quick to dismiss it. Take a closer look at the coin's condition. If it's in great shape and has been well preserved, you could be holding on to a valuable piece of American history. And while the vast majority of these coins may not fetch a high price, that one rare gem could easily be worth $36,000. It's incredible how the world of numismatics works. What might seem like an ordinary coin can turn into a treasure worth thousands, if not tens of thousands, of dollars. The 1950 Lincoln 1 cent serves as a prime example of how seemingly simple coins can carry extraordinary value, especially when they are part of a limited mintage, have historical significance, and remain in excellent condition. If you haven't checked your coin jar or collection in a while, now might be a good time to dig out those 1950 pennies and give them a second look. You might just discover that your old penny is worth a lot more than you ever imagined. Today's video is going to answer that question in the most exciting way possible. We're diving deep into one of the most intriguing coins in American history, the 1954 Lincoln 1 cent. It's a coin that, at first glance, may seem like just another penny from the 1950s. But trust me, there's so much more to this coin than meets the eye. Let's take a step back for a moment and appreciate the history of the Lincoln 1 cent. First introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, this iconic penny has seen countless changes over the decades. Its design has evolved, but the presence of Lincoln on the obverse and the wheat ears on the reverse remained symbols of American resilience for many years. The 1954 Lincoln penny is part of a long-standing tradition that still holds a deep connection to American history and numismatics. So why are we focusing on the 1954 Lincoln 1 cent today? Well, to the untrained eye, a 1954 penny might just look like a simple, everyday coin, but in the world of coin collecting, it's anything but ordinary. Coins from the 1950s have become a fascinating area of focus for numismatists, and the 1954 penny, in particular, has caught the attention of collectors and investors alike due to its rarity in high-quality conditions and its enduring popularity. Let's start by talking about the mintage of the 1954 Lincoln penny. The coin was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, so you'll find two different mint marks on these pennies. The Philadelphia Mint produced the bulk of the 1954 pennies, while the Denver Mint produced a smaller number. However, what makes the Denver minted version especially valuable is its lower mintage and the fact that it's much rarer to find in excellent condition. This is where the 1954 Lincoln penny stands out. What makes this coin so special in terms of value is its rarity in top-notch, uncirculated condition. Like any collectible item, the condition of the coin plays a massive role in its worth. The majority of 1954 pennies that were circulated during their time have experienced wear and tear from years of handling, making high-grade examples incredibly rare. If you happen to stumble upon a 1954 penny that's still in pristine condition, well, you've likely got a valuable piece of American history in your hands. But what really sets the 1954 Lincoln penny apart from other coins in the series is its historical significance. By the mid-1950s, the Lincoln penny was becoming a symbol of the country's post-World War II prosperity and growth. The 1954 coin carries a special place in that narrative, and collectors are always on the lookout for high-quality examples from this era. There's something truly captivating about holding a piece of that history, especially when you realize just how much value it can hold. Now let's get to the heart of the matter. How much is a 1954 Lincoln 1 cent worth? Well, while the typical 1954 penny is worth only a few cents above its face value, the real excitement begins when you look at coins in high-grade, uncirculated, or mint state conditions. Some of these coins can command impressive prices, especially if they come from the Denver Mint, which produced fewer pennies in that year. But it's not just the mint mark that makes a difference, it's also the overall condition of the coin. For a coin like the 1954 Lincoln 1 cent, in exceptional condition and with a sharp mint mark, we're talking about a price tag that could easily reach into the thousands. But that's not all. Certain 1954 pennies, especially those in perfect, mint state condition, have been known to sell for even higher prices at auctions. And here's the exciting part: if you have one of these rare 1954 Lincoln pennies in top condition, you could be looking at a value of $39,000. Yes, you heard that right, $39,000. It's incredible to think that a coin which originally had a face value of just 1 cent could be worth such a large sum. But that's the beauty of coin collecting. Coins like the 1954 Lincoln 1 cent become valuable not only because of their rarity, but also because of the rich history they represent. For collectors, it's not just about the price tag, it's about the thrill of owning a piece of history and preserving it for future generations. So, what can we take away from this? The next time you come across a 1954 Lincoln penny in your collection, don't just toss it aside. Take a good look at it, check the mint mark, assess its condition, and consider its potential value. You never know, that seemingly ordinary penny might just be worth far more than you ever imagined. If you find yourself with a mint condition 1954 Lincoln penny, whether it's from Philadelphia or Denver, you could be holding onto a coin that's worth $39,000. This is the kind of coin that can make a collector's day, week, or even year. So, keep your eyes peeled, and who knows, you might just have a rare treasure tucked away in your collection. Today we're diving into an exciting topic for those of you who love discovering rare and valuable pieces of history, the 1945 Lincoln 1 cent. It's a coin that may look ordinary at first glance, but don't be fooled. There's a lot more to this little penny than you might think, especially when it comes to its value in the world of coin collecting. The Lincoln 1 cent is one of the most iconic coins in the history of the United States. First minted in 1909, this coin has been a part of everyday life for generations of Americans. The 1945 Lincoln penny, however, stands out for a number of reasons. As we explore this coin's value and the unique characteristics that make it a hot item for collectors, we'll also touch on the historical context of this era, which makes it even more fascinating. To start, let's take a look at the minting process of the 1945 Lincoln 1 cent. This coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and unlike some other years, there weren't significant variations in the design of the penny. However, the context of 1945 is important to understand. This was a year that marked the end of World War II, and the United States was transitioning into a period of post-war growth and prosperity. This is significant because, during the war, there were shortages of certain materials, and the design of coins was sometimes altered to make use of whatever metals were available. The 1945 Lincoln 1 cent was struck with a composition of copper and tin, which was a standard mix at the time. It has a simple yet elegant design. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln's portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse displays the iconic wheat ears, symbolizing prosperity and abundance. The coin's design remained largely unchanged during these years, and while it may not have the flashy appeal of some other rarer coins, it has stood the test of time as a symbol of the American spirit. But what about the value of this coin? Well, to the untrained eye, a 1945 Lincoln penny might seem like just another ordinary cent. However, collectors look beyond the surface. The value of any coin is heavily influenced by factors such as its rarity, condition, and overall demand in the numismatic market. While many 1945 pennies can still be found in circulation today, the ones that stand out are the ones in excellent, uncirculated condition. The most valuable 1945 Lincoln pennies are those that were preserved in mint condition. Coins that have been carefully kept in pristine shape over the years can be worth far more than their face value. Collectors are particularly interested in finding coins that have sharp details, no visible wear, and little to no discoloration or damage. These grade-worthy coins are the ones that command attention and can fetch impressive prices in the market, but the real excitement comes when we consider the 1945 Lincoln 1 cent in its highest grade, which is known as MS 65 or better. If you are lucky enough to come across one of these uncirculated beauties, you could have a coin worth a serious amount of money. The demand for high-grade 1945 pennies has been steadily increasing as collectors and investors seek out the most pristine examples of this coin. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of history, and that history has a price tag. Now let's get down to the specifics of what this coin could be worth. A 1945 Lincoln penny in lower grades might be worth only a few cents above its face value. But when you're talking about a 1945 Lincoln penny in mint condition, the story changes. In fact, some of these coins have been known to sell for prices that will leave you speechless. For an example of a 1945 penny in top-notch, uncirculated condition, you could be looking at a value of $32,000. Yes, that's right, $32,000, imagine that. A coin that was originally worth just 1 cent, now valued at a staggering $32,000. This is the power of rarity and demand in the world of coin collecting. If you happen to own a 1945 Lincoln 1 cent in exceptional condition, it could become a prized possession that brings in a handsome return. What makes this even more exciting is that, while 1945 pennies are relatively common, finding one in perfect condition is rare. This is exactly why so many collectors are on the lookout for these high-grade coins. The thrill of uncovering a valuable gem is one of the most exciting aspects of numismatics. And it's not just about the price, it's about owning a piece of history, something that tells a story about a moment in time when the United States was emerging from the ravages of war and stepping into a new era of peace and prosperity. So, the next time you go through your coin collection or happen to come across a 1945 penny, take a moment to examine it carefully. Is it in excellent condition? Does it have the shine and sharpness of a coin that has been preserved over the years? If it's a mint condition example, you could be holding onto something far more valuable than you might have imagined. In conclusion, the 1945 Lincoln 1 cent may appear to be just another coin from the past, but in the world of collectors, it's much more than that. If you're lucky enough to find one in mint condition, it could be worth $32,000. So keep your eyes peeled, because that humble penny might just be your ticket to a treasure trove of numismatic value. Today, we are delving into the fascinating world of the Lincoln 1 cent, a coin that has captured the hearts of collectors for generations. If you're someone who loves the thrill of finding rare treasures, then the 1953 Lincoln 1 cent is a coin you won't want to overlook. This seemingly ordinary penny has a rich history and a remarkable value, and in this video, we'll explore just how much it could be worth today. The Lincoln 1 cent coin, first minted in 1909, has become a staple of American coinage. Over the years, many different versions have been minted, each with unique characteristics. The 1953 Lincoln penny is one of the most sought after in this long history. Why is that? Well, let's take a look at the historical and numismatic significance of the 1953 penny and see what sets it apart from the rest. To begin, let's talk about the coin itself. The 1953 Lincoln 1 cent is made of copper, as was standard for most pennies of the time. The coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, which was designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, you'll find 2 wheat stalks framing the words E pluribus unum and 1 cent, symbolizing the prosperity of the United States during that era. The design remained unchanged for decades, making the Lincoln 1 cent one of the most recognizable coins in American history. But what makes the 1953 Lincoln penny particularly special? For one, it was minted during a time of economic stability and growth in the United States, following the end of World War II. The 1950s were a period of great change, and the country was experiencing a post-war boom. This historical context adds an extra layer of interest for collectors who are drawn to the coins of this era. Now, let's dive into the value of the 1953 Lincoln 1 cent. At first glance, this coin might seem like just another everyday penny. But as any seasoned collector will tell you, it's the condition of the coin and its rarity that can make all the difference. The value of a 1953 penny varies greatly depending on its grade. A coin's grade is determined by its condition, and the better the condition, the more valuable it becomes. The vast majority of 1953 Lincoln pennies in circulation today are in relatively low grades, meaning they show signs of wear and tear. However, the coins that stand out are those that have been carefully preserved in near-perfect condition. If you're lucky enough to find a 1953 Lincoln penny that has been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition, you could have a valuable piece of American history on your hands. So, what is a 1953 Lincoln penny in mint condition actually worth? Well, the value can vary depending on factors such as demand and the overall market. But a 1953 penny in top condition could be worth $36,000. Yes, you heard that right, $36,000. This is a significant amount for a coin that originally had a face value of just 1 cent. It just goes to show that the value of rare and well-preserved coins can skyrocket as time goes on. For collectors, the hunt for high-quality coins like the 1953 Lincoln 1 cent is what makes numismatics such an exciting and rewarding hobby. It's not just about the coin itself, it's about the history, the rarity, and the thrill of discovering a piece of the past that has stood the test of time. So, if you're sifting through your old coins or browsing your local coin shop, keep an eye out for a 1953 Lincoln penny. If it's in exceptional condition, it could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the 1953 Lincoln penny is a coin that you'll want to keep on your radar. As with any coin collection, the key to success is knowing what to look for and understanding the factors that contribute to a coin's value. The 1953 Lincoln 1 cent is a perfect example of how a seemingly ordinary coin can be transformed into a valuable collectible through rarity, condition, and historical significance. In conclusion, the 1953 Lincoln 1 cent is much more than just a simple penny. It's a piece of history, and if you happen to come across one in mint condition, it could be worth $36,000. Keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows? The next great discovery might just be sitting in your collection right now. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the world of rare coins. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content on valuable coins and collectibles. Until next time, happy collecting, and keep your eyes peeled for that next hidden gem.